ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Competitive Speed Series. It's yet another round of racing.
What's going to happen in turn 1?
4, 5 red lights here in Shanghai.
They will need an even bigger miracle.
This is completely flipped on its head.
Now the gloves have come off.
You will not believe your eyes.
Oh, it's the wall! For the first time, EVE have won a race.
They have beaten the unbeatable team title for TF10. They are back on top.
Good evening and welcome everybody along to Competitive Speed Series. We are at round 7, I think. Oh god, I may have got that mistake. We're here for Imola anyway. It's one of the Italian Grand Prix we've got on the calendar, and we will move to the standing screens because Shizou have been pipped back by the ET8 team. Ollie, this is well, we weren't expecting this a few rounds ago. Okay, so we got audio problems for you. I'm gonna do the intro again and hope that it will. I'll just do a quick fix behind the scenes, so please bear with us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Competitive Speed Series. It's yet another round of racing.
What's going to happen in turn 1?
4, 5 red lights here in Shanghai.
They will need an even bigger miracle.
This is completely flipped on its head.
Now the gloves have come off.
You will not believe your eyes.
Oh, it's the wall! For the first time, EVE have won a race.
They have beaten the unbeatable team title for TF10. They are back on top.
Fingers crossed, we are back and everything is good. Ollie, please say some words just to...
Well, I'm hoping it's fixed, guys. Otherwise, it's going to be very much a solo Grand Prix for you. And Imola's quite an exciting race, so I'm hoping that we're both able to talk and hopefully provide a great commentary experience for those who are watching this evening. Hopefully, they can hear me now.
that is... It looks like it's good. Ace has said we got it, so that's a good sign.
Fantastic.
Good to see IRT Seb in the chat, backing IRT. Let's see how it will all work out. But it would be great to have your opinions in the chat. Who's going to take pole position tonight, and also take victory if you want to be so bold to say that this early doors. But yes, Ollie Hornby is the first driver to set a lap time here at Imola for this season, and let's see what the AMS and Haas driver can do around what is a very historic Italian Grand Prix, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. You got Ferranti, Tamburello, Ferranti Villeneuve, Tosa, Acqua Minerale, Piratella, Ferranti Alta. You know, it's like Spa and Silverstone, and unfortunately, Ollie Hornby has invalidated their lap time. Axe F1, who is a driver that I have not seen on the grid for a long time here in the esports scene. It's good to see them back. But Ryder Dull, let's go on board with them, see what they can do on this time around. But yes, as I was saying about Imola, these names roll off the tongue, don't they?
Yeah, like I think we mentioned last week, didn't we? How some circuits are just iconic, aren't they? With names, and obviously this one known for good and bad moments for those who know the F1 history. But this is a classic circuit. You know, it's been around for donkey's years, hasn't it, in some sort of capacity in Formula One. And luckily we have it on the calendar at the moment because it is a fantastic circuit, proper F1 circuit, undulating, tight corners, fast corners, plenty of place to overtake as well, Gareth. As Radal is the first man to set a lap time here with a 1:13.9, so early doors, and ET8 at the top, as we've seen recently, or a lot of, Gareth. And there we go, Shazoo take it straight back off them. So yeah, I think it'll be a contest between the both of them this evening, as expected after, well, so far this season, Gareth.
As Divin, thank you, Ollie. It's going to be interesting to see the pendulum swing between the two of them because of the way it's gone this season, as we see Divin just getting caught in with with a little bit of a problem with the Red Bull coming through Toza, which is not great. I don't think they're going to be setting a faster lap, so we'll go on board with Mattia, who in the TF10 team, currently 16th, but they look like they're pulling over to one side. What about their teammate, Ortiz? I believe finished the lap time, but they invalidated. My goodness me, I can't find a driver that's actually putting a lap time in. Pepin, I should say. What can they do? Coming through Verante Alta, it doesn't look like they've invalidated there, so this could be a lap time for them.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Downhill he goes into the Rivasa, 17 and 18. Zawadi takes pole with a 1:13.4, so the IRT team bring in the heat early doors. Across the line in 5th place, and not too far off his team. Well, so that's about half a second, Gareth, so they had a bit of work to do, but Dan coming in strong there with a 1:13.4 as well, so Dan throwing a cat amongst pigeons here early doors, Gareth, as is Zawadi.
Yeah, IRT definitely. Well, this is big from IRT. Usually we don't see them towards the top, and that's not being disrespectful to them. I don't think it's. We got the Shazoos and the ET8s that are generally at the top, but great for seeing an FRT and an IRT at the top of it all. But there goes Lifebout in the ET8, putting themselves 3rd for the time being. I think Gergo throwing themselves 5th with Ortiz 7th and Lafiti, and I will start getting that name wrong again. Goes 2nd there as well, as we go on board of Namsco, who's invalidated their lap. And this is a problem for this track, isn't it? You could you can do a lot of damage to your qualifying performance.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I jumped on pre-race just to jump on some time trial and see what the track was like. And don't get me wrong, Gareth, I'm nowhere near as experienced as the drivers, especially with the huge skill issue on my part. But it is quite easy to invalidate at this circuit. Final 2 corners, easy place to do it. Each chicane that you've got is a great place to invalidate a lap time, and also how much you just get the entry correct into those chicanes, and it can really throw the car off, and again cost you a little bit of time on exit as well. So I'm sure the drivers and everyone watching already know that, but I found out the hard way when I was doing my time trial lap. So yeah, it's definitely invalidation lap. Going wide at the circuit, it will cost the drivers quite significantly. So hopefully they all can negotiate, but I think we may see a few penalties this evening for track limits, which hopefully not too many, but we'll have to wait and see.
As we are on board with Erpit coming through Aqua Minerale, he's already had a few snappy moments earlier on in the lap, and it's still being a little bit snappy, and Shazoo will not be too happy, taking as much of the curb as possible through Verante Alta, turns 14 and 15, and somehow no invalidation, so it can show you can do a little bit of legal corner cutting. But look at the back end snapping out at turn 18, and they've gone, you know what, I'm just throwing it into the pits because it's not going to be a good lap pulled together. Ollie Hornby, though, going off the track at the exit of Verante Villeneuve, but still managing to keep it within legal limits, they say.
Yeah, going off the game he was quickest in sector 1. So we'll see whether he continues his lap here. He pulls in, but what is great to see, guys, is looking at the top 7, all different teams, which is great to see. And usually we throw in there's usually at least 2, even 3 teams up at the top, but it's great to see the mix we have at the moment, especially Bougier. It's still early doors, but we'll see how we go. But Ollie Hornby definitely adding some colour to those tyres as he goes around the circuit with grass and gravel going onto the front tyres. But he is going to go around. I think there's some issue with the sector times because with the 120, I don't think there's any purple sectors in there. So we'll see as I think this is his flying lap now. So we'll see what he can do. Currently down in 14th with a 120.0. So we're hoping to catch up with his teammate in 7th, Amos Gerger, with a 130.7. So a little bit of work still to do for Ollie.
Yeah, there's lots of drivers just taking off, going off the line and going. It's not going well for them right now. But Ollie Hornby, much quicker this time around. It definitely looks much quicker this time around than last time. So let's see how it will all pan out for them. But just slightly wide through Piratella, and that is costly indeed for the AMS driver for tonight. Where else can we go on board with? Namsco, they're on a lap time, heading into Ferrante Villeneuve now.
What do we do there? Sorry, I'm still getting to grips, guys, with the corner names. I'm not unless it's Silverstone. I don't really know which each corner. I'll be honest. Well, Silverstone and Monza are the two that I know well. But yeah, something to learn as we go on. Sorry, guys, I lost my train of thought there. Which driver were we looking at?
We were looking at Namsco, but Namsco has gone off track and decided to slow down. Ortiz, I believe, coming through turn 7, Tozer, is on a lap. It looks very fast coming through Piratella. Doesn't do what Ollie Hornby did, which was go slightly wide and cross those white lines. We've seen Ryder Dow cut that corner, turn 12, far too aggressively, causing them to get an invalidated lap time. But Ortiz looking very solid right now.
If I can find him on... Oh, there he is. Sorry, apologies. Trying to figure out where he was on track. But AMS Gergo goes Polgar with a 13.3. Can Ortiz match that currently in P8 with a 113.7? Can he improve as he crosses the line? He can. The second place, less than a tenth behind our current pole man with a 113.4. 40 attempt Ortiz. So, Gareth, teams that weren't expecting to be at the top, which is great to see. But again, still... I've got the yellow flag, so I can't see how long is left of this session. But we'll there we go, 6 minutes. So still a little bit of time to go. But yeah, great lap times from both the top 2 at the moment. As another Shazoo driver into second, Gareth, there with 13.4. Volakogan?
Volakogan.
I would say. Volakogan. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
great lap time from him.
Look how close it is between Volakongan and Ortiz, though. Ridiculously close. Down to 1/1000th of a second. It's odd to see drivers with front end plate damage in qualifying, let alone a track like this, which is quite open. Dan goes fastest of all as Weasel. Currently P10. Just trying to increase their lap time. They've been bumped down to 11th, I believe, by Namsco now. So the QRT team doing pretty well.
Yeah, not bad. Again, it's difficult. It seems, Gareth, we normally know who's going to be where when it comes to qualifying, but we had a real mix this evening, which is great to see. Which we don't, it's great to see. But I mean, with around 5 minutes left in the session, it's still all to play for. Weasel flying through Venerali there into the final chicane of the lap, the Venerati Alta, as he hops the gears back and steps a little bit there. Oh, guys, it's not ideal. And that's going to cost him a few tenths on exit. The final 2 corners currently in P11 with 13.7. But we should see an improvement, hopefully, on this lap. But he has, yeah, it looks like he's slowed down a bit there, Gareth. So I think maybe a trip to the pits.
Yeah, it is. Trip to the pits there. Axe F1 has invalidated as well. They're going into the pits. Is Thomas on a lap time? Well, they are 20 seconds quicker, apparently, according to the sector time that just came up there. So I'm not 100% sure what that is showing. But let's see what it is when they cross the sector marker here. They're 2 seconds down on their lap time. So I can't believe that for a second, unfortunately. So it's all a little bit all over the place. Let's see who could into the pits. I think for Namsco, there is a McLaren, one of the IRT drivers, exiting the pit lane. Who would that be? That looks like it's the driver in 14th place, Pepin.
Yep, Pepin down in 14th at the moment. It doesn't look like Gareth. He's had a clean lap with a 19.7 so far, while everyone else in the 13. So a little bit of work to do, and it looks like it's, you know, his last real go of the session. So he's going to have to, you know, pick it all together to try and catch up with teammates. Wadi up in 6th at the moment with a 13.4. So we'll see whether Pippin can do that. He has been quick, you know, when we have been on board with him. But again, like we mentioned earlier, the track extensions from time to time has cost multiple drivers. I think almost everyone has had some sort of invalidation. So we'll see how he gets on. Like I said, 3 minutes 20 left of the session. So realistically, this is only flying lap. And if you can get out, it's still quite quiet on the track. So hopefully, we can get around final 2 corners and give us a flying lap this evening.
Here we go. It's the final throw of the dice, we believe, for the IRT driver with 3 minutes left of the session. If they invalidate early, they probably will get away with going into the train that is coming out of the pit lane now. But I think Pepin wanted clear track, wanted to be able to not have any distractions at all. There's only 3 cars ahead of them as they're coming through into the end of Sector 1, into Varante Villeneuve they are. And through, and it's an improvement on their lap time by 1.6 seconds at the moment through Sector 1. Up the hill into Piratella they come now, and it's looking pretty solid for the IRT driver.
Yeah, just about keeps it inside the white lines. You can see each driver almost pushing it to the very edge, tight right, left, coming through 11, 12 and 13 into the final chicane of the lap purple, if you believe the mini map there for the McLaren driver, down the hill to the final 2 corners of the circuit here at Imola. All I have to do just keep it in, well, keep it in the in between the white lines there, but it's slow on entry to turn 17 there, but flat out towards the line. Where will he go as he crosses the line? 9th place into the 13th for him, and I'm sure he'll be happy with that into the top 10 for the IRT driver.
It's good. Well, it's good for now for the IRT driver, but we are on board with AMS driver Ollie Hornby, who is trying to ensure he doesn't get caught by the cars that are coming up the hill to Piratella, and they're doing a good job of just keeping it, and that's where he invalidated before, but they managed to keep it within the white lines through Piratella on the exit. Are they going to do a good job through Aquamino Ali? They have done. They're not. The last real pressure point here is Varante Alta. You can really hop over and cause issues there, but that looks good as well. 4 seconds quicker at this time around. Not enough to go well into the top 10, but they could produce something a little bit better if they've got this final sector absolutely nailed down. Let's see what Ollie Hornby can do. And across the line, with about 45 seconds remaining, Ollie Hornby goes second quickest.
What a lap time, and it jumps his teammate as well.
Absolutely incredible. Volokongan then, the Shizou driver. A lot of pressure for, well, both ET8 and Shizou tonight, because the rest of the grid have really turned up to play.
Yeah, I don't know whether they put weights in the cars or something, Gareth. They've hidden something in the Shizou and ET8 team cars, but everyone is flying this evening. But can Volokongan as Oroka gets some sort of penalty there? But he crossed the line, and his pole with a 13.1 by, and his teammate jumps him right at the end as well into the 13 zeros, and Namsco jumps him as well.
What is going on? It is just all kicking off. Lifebout, what can you do? You've invalidated, so you're not going any quicker. Ryder, Dahl's out. Conflict haven't been able to set a lap time at all. Has FRT Dan got anything in the locker? They've been the front runner. They've been the pace setter through this qualifying session so far. But all of a sudden, Shazoo have come out to play. Namsco's come out to play as well. And AMS. FRT Dan looks like they could produce something special, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to drop Namsco.
No, it's quicker, Gareth, but stays in, up to 4th, I think, with 13-1. But yeah, I mean, still a good time for Dan, but again, not enough to get onto the podium here in qualifying. Is anyone else still on laps? And I think there's a few still out there, Gareth. Both the TF10 drivers still on laps.
Ortiz, then what can they do? Round the final corner, they come now across the line, and where is it going to be? It's up to 5th, pushing both AMS drivers further down. Gergo did displace Ollie Hornby in the end. Matea is slow, and I think that means qualifying maybe over and done with. Aroka has done. Wow, there we go. Okay. I think that is qualifying. Oh.
Yeah, I think both the Rocker and Mattia are just coming into the pits to retire. But what a session that was, Gareth. You know, right at the end. Well, it was still with time, really. But, you know, looking at that order, that's hell of a difference for SCI jumping up there. And crucially, the ET8 team down in 13th and 16th. This could be a real blow to the championship standings if they can't work their way through the grid. And it seems everyone else has showed up this evening. The AMS boys in 6th and 7th, FRT Dan up there, Namsco getting pole. You know, this could really turn the championship on its head tonight.
It could do indeed. There goes Namsco on the pole, with alongside him on the front row of the grid is Erpek. The second row of the grid sees Volakongan and FRT Dan. Ortiz in 5th with 6 going to Gergo. The 4th row of the grid, you see Ollie Hornby and Matea. Then you got Lafiti and Ziawadi. Then you got Aroka, Pepin and Lifebout, Axe, Weasel, Ryder Dahl. Probably the big story of the day, down in 16th place. Divan in 17th, 18th to Thomas. Ivan in 19th and 20th to Confliv there. That's qualifying, and qualifying is quite obviously an important part of it. But we are just going to see whether that is a grid pen there. So there is a grid pen, and I just need to see if we are going to do. We are doing a restart because of the penalty given. That's fine. Cool. We will be. Just needed a double check, because sometimes you get a restart, sometimes you don't, and you just want to sort through all that. But while we're here, while we're on that, what a qualifying performance from the Shazoo team, from where we were thinking, especially Erpik, possibly nowhere to be found in qualifying. Really came up the goods in the end. Okay, they qualified 2nd and 3rd, but yeah, so it was a well-timed return to form with the pressure on them from ET8 in the standings.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, you look at the standings, and obviously we get the breakdown of each race, and they still have been on the podium. Don't get me wrong, but it's not getting that win, which is obviously the biggest amount of points, and crucially ETA have just got it, pipped them every single time over the last couple of races. So, you know, it's what they needed tonight, Gareth, the SCI. So we'll see whether they can convert that. Obviously, you've got Namsco on pole for the QRT team. So whether he messes with them. But crucially, Gareth, as long as they stay ahead of ET8, that's the most important thing to them. And, you know, unfortunately, ET8, they've got a lot of work to do. And overtaking can be difficult at the circuit. It's not really. It's not a train as such, Gareth, but it is difficult, and main overtaking opportunity is into turn 1 and 2.
Certainly is, and let's look at the. Obviously, we will talk about ET8 and Zhizhou. Well, probably all race with it going through, but AMS qualifying quite high. They're ninth in the standings, similarly to IRT. They're lower down, but they've got some real. They've got an opportunity here to get some real great points and push their team higher up.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen. I think it may have been last week or the week before. AMS got up there, but they just couldn't convert it in the end. I think it was Brazil last week, wasn't it? Where I don't remember the driver, but stayed out a little bit too long on the tyres he was on, and unfortunately didn't go his way in the end. But crucially, if they can get the strategy right, do they split it? Do they just do one after the other? We'll have to wait and see. But like I said, crucially, getting a good hold of points for them could really mean a lot in the standings and jump up. Whether they can jump up this race, but bank a good hold of points and work their way back up the grid, because they've done really well in quali, and it's just about converting it in the race. And I know we always say, quali and the race are two different beasts, and ultimately they are. A lot more things can go wrong in the race. So we'll see how it all pans out. But yeah, fingers crossed they can have a good race. And fingers crossed everyone can have a good race. But crucially for AMS, they need to push their way up the standings, really, don't they?
Definitely. Well, we're looking at the board at the moment. They're a good 42 points behind IRT, who are only 2 points behind AMR, and AMR seem to have a good. We look at them through the race, and they always seem to be there or thereabouts with the middle point scoring positions, but it just doesn't always seem to end that way, whether they get themselves in incidents or anything like that. But they are, IRT to Team TF10, they're all, okay, it's 80 points, but because points go down to 15th, they're all within a chance of swapping around. And we saw a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was Ventauri swapping with QRT within a race, but that was 4 positions in the overall standings that changed in the end. So, we do bear with us. We are just waiting for the lobby to get itself remade, positions or everything positionally correct for everyone to go racing again. 32 laps of Imola, which will be absolutely incredible to say the least. ET8 are in the Mercedes. Let's go down the which team is in which car, just to remind you, just in case you have forgotten. ET8 are in the Mercedes. In the McLaren, you've got the IRT team. The Williams is now the QRT team, I believe. VCarb in the RSC team. Zhizhou in the Red Bull. In the Aston Martin, you've got the. In the Aston Martin, you've got the QRT team. The Williams team is the VNT team. The Ferrari is the AMR. The Sauber is the FRT. The AMS team drive the Haas. And in the Alpine, you've got the TF10 team, which, again, TF10, a couple of seasons ago, they were, in the mix with ETA at the top of the fighting away, weren't they? And it's not gone that way this season for them, but they're still up there.
Yeah, it's looking at it, 176 points behind SCI. We've got, including tonight, 5 rounds left of the championship. I think it might be too much of a stretch. Ultimately, even VNT, it's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? Crucially, getting that win at Monaco helped them, but yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? With how it's going to pan out. They'd have to have a really good end of the season to try and catch up with the top 2, but I think ultimately it's down to 3 teams in SCI, ET8 and VNT, but we'll see how they go, guys. It's anything can happen in these races, as we've known and we've seen on many occasions in this league. So yeah, crazier things have happened.
Yeah, it's I've just seen Ollie Hornby's invalidated lap. He wasn't even over, they weren't even over the white line, and the game really has screwed them over a little bit. But enough about the standings. Let's have a Well, apparently we can't have the calendar screen up because the audio just doesn't want to work on that one. But yeah, as you could see with there, Brazil was a great race last time out. Honestly, go back and watch it. It was great. But yeah, Austria next time out. We've had some great races there.
Yes, and we can debate which corners are corners and which aren't corners, as we do every year, Gareth, at the Austrian Grand Prix from turn 1 up to turn 4. But yeah, I love the Austrian Grand Prix. I think it's one of my favourite to watch and to race on. I think it may be where I have one of my first podiums in my very short league racing career over many years ago now. But yeah, great circuit. Then we've got Canada, Britain, and Australia to finish off, which are all great circuits as well. Fortunately, missing Canada, but back for Britain and Australia, which I very much look forward to later on in the month, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's still September, car. Yeah, round 11 and 12.
Here we go. Then we are on in the grid, ready for the race here at Imola. 19 corners, 32 laps. Ollie, who's going to take victory tonight?
I hate this question every week. I never get. I'm sure I got it right last week, Gareth. May have done. But then again, I can't remember who won last week. Who's going to win tonight? I think it's going to be SCI. I think having both the drivers up the front is going to help them massively. Not having Namsko's teammate up there may be an issue for him. So that's I think an SCI win with ETA not being anywhere near Gareth. I think it's almost a given for them.
Let's see how it will pan out. No rain forecasted at the moment. It's clear blue skies. But we have just been informed in the chat that there is the last two icons of the weather shows rain. Wow. So we may get a little bit of a shake-up at the end of the race. That will be a lovely bit of extra controversy. Maybe we're going to see a bit of more spice in the pot here in Imola. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to take victory tonight, because it is it's great to get your opinion, and it's one of those tracks which quite often in real life F1 you don't get the overtakes. It's kind of boring, but in sim racing you get a little bit more, and there's a lot more action.
Yeah, we do normally see attempted moves into 14 and 50, don't we? If they can get a great exit out of 12 and driver ahead makes a mistake, we do see the odd move, and even into Peritella, we've seen side-by-side action, which is hard enough to go one car through there, let alone two. So we'll see how that all pans out. But it should, like I said, guys, it should be an exciting race. And having that rain at the end is really going to spike things up. So just wait for the road to set the tyres. It's a mixed bag. I'm looking at the driver director. So mainly mediums, but the old driver on hard tyres as well. So we'll see how that pans out later on in the race.
I'm eagerly anticipating the start of this one. It's going to be a great fight into turn one. It's quite a long drag to turn one, and Namsko has they've got a team of Shizou behind them that will not back down, but hopefully they will all start pressing. You know what? I'm going to go onto this so we don't miss the start of the Grand Prix. So you can see the fake fans cheering up just above the pit wall there, and they're just. I wish they come up with some new models for those, but never mind.
I'd love to know what they're cheering about, Gareth, because the race has yet to start.
Yeah.
So why they're so excited, I don't know.
Definitely. And even let's move on from the game. Obviously, we've spoken about turn 14 and turn 9 as overtaking opportunities that we've seen some problems through. But even you can get into the hairpin at turn 7, Tozer, you can get some moves done in there if you catch the driver in front of you just napping. Then it could be problematic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have seen plenty of drivers. Oh, no, I'll let you do the lights, Gareth.
Here we go. 4, 5 red lights here. Round 8 is away, done, dusted, and we are full throttle through it. And Namsko's had a great start. Erpic hasn't had a good start and has already lost the position to their teammate Volokongan as they head on down into turn number 1. And Erpic gets back past. FRT Tan is fighting away with Volokongan as it's still all kicking off further down the grid. There's someone that has dropped. A rocker, I think, has dropped all the way down. I'm not sure what's happened there. Let's have a look at... I don't want the telemetry on. Let's have a look at the tyres because it is a little bit of a mixed bag. Volokongan and Dan on the hards. They're going to come into this race really strong towards the end.
Absolutely, yeah. Gareth, the man who fell down was Ollie Hornby, unfortunately. Contact through two and 3 cost him onto the grass, and he's dropped down to 17th, and front wing damage to the car as well. Ghosted and unghosted at the wrong time, unfortunately. So yeah, not the best out for him, but his teammate up in 6th place still. So still up there for the AMS team, but Namsko leading us away and not too much movement. It's top 6 stayed where they are, but then everyone else is jumped quite a few places actually, looking at it, as Conville have been up 5 places from the back of the grid. Yeah,
just saw Gergo dispatch Matteo Manga as well in a good move heading into Aqua Minerale, and now fighting the other TF10 driver of Ortiz as well. But all the same at the front. The top 4 haven't changed. They are still fighting their way through. But the 2 hard runners of Volokongan and FRT Dam will really bring something a little bit different to maybe Namsko's race, because they don't have a rear gunner like Erpic has with Volokongan.
Absolutely, and Araka already in the pits, as is Ollie Hornby and Weasel, so not ideal for their drivers. And like I said, Namsko not having that rear gunner, crucial. But crucially, Erpic's got to stay with our race leader, otherwise Volokongan doesn't have that ability to stay with the top 3 here, and he may fall in the clutches of Dan, so he's got to be careful to stay with him. And Namsko, is he getting up that gap slightly? He's now 7/10 over 2nd place, and Erpic's got to be careful here as Volokongan makes a mistake through the chicane of 14 and 15 there, and lose a little bit of time. Ollie Horby gets our first warning, but that's Namsko into the gravel trap at 17, Gareth, and he's down into 5th place, 6th place, could be 7th, no, won't be 7th, but that small mistake by Namsko has cost him a huge amount of places, and now it's an SCI 1-2.
And that is not what ET8 would have wanted to hear at all. TF10 Mantia Manga back up into 6th place, but fighting with Lafiti as Namsko nearly going off the track again. And my goodness me, what a turn of fortune on the end of lap 2 for the qualifying pole sitter, now down in 7th place.
Yeah, really unfortunate then. Again, got overtaken by Mattia coming down to turn 1, and then Lafiti trying to make the move through 2 and 3, but just couldn't get enough of a nose in front of the Aston Martin here. So Namsko again down 6 places from that, and that small mistake cost him. Didn't see just all that green or dark green car in the gravel trap at 17 and 18 there, but crucially now Erpec and Volokongan in 1st, 2nd, and crucially, as long as Erpec can stay in the lead and Volokongan stays within the DRS, Gareth, Dan won't be able to get through here. If they can just swap places if they need to, but Dan's teammate in Axton in 10th is nowhere near, and no help for him. But Dan's looking pretty racy here, Gareth. I don't think, again, with I say that those catching Volokongan here, he's going to have to go to the outside, and the front Red Bull has just blocked him then. I think we saw this last season, Gareth, where we saw blocking through 1 and 2, but Dan's not having any of it, trying to switch back here. They'd be side by side, no, pulls back in, going into 5 and 6 here, but the SCI team blocking well, and that may be their tactic, unless Dan's going to have to try something different.
Yeah, so you'll see the gap go to about 7-8 tenths of a second as they go around Rivasa between the 2 Shizou drivers, and then Obviously, Volokongan will come through. Ollie Hornby, the fastest driver on the track. We know how quick he is here, but it's just not gone through. Pepin dispatching of Lafiti there as well, as we're back on board with Volokongan taking through this. So we'll see Volokongan go slow to make sure there's a bigger gap as possible between themselves and Erpic, but then have the DRS to their disposal going down the start-finish straight and should keep FRT Dan at bay. It's 9/10 of a second. DRS will be perfectly fine for them, and I don't know if Dan's going to have enough this time around of asking. Here we go. Let's see what happens as they head on down towards the first Verante. And yeah, nothing Dan can do. Shazoo doing a wonderful job right now.
Yeah, playing tactics well here. And like you said, Dan's going to try something different to get by Volokongan here. Ortiz not close enough either, but if you can split those SCI drivers, we could see a heap of positions lost for that team. There's obviously the tie difference for the second and third man, but we'll see how it goes. They're still doing well on this hard compound tie, staying with Erpek, and Ortiz not being able to get through at the moment. But yeah, we'll see what Dan can do on this occasion. Not too much movement really everywhere else, but this train goes all the way down to 11th in Lifeboat. So Lifeboat and Radadal have gained quite a few places, Gareth. So they are working their way through, but still way off our top. Well, obviously they're rivals in the championship in SCI.
Yeah, they're doing well. This should be a big point swing if it stays like it is to Shazoo's favour. But right now, Dan again can't find a suitable place to try and attack Volokongan as they head on down the start-finish straight to start lap 6. The DRS definitely closes early on Volokongan's car as they head on through. And the longer this race goes on, those hards are going to become far more... Ooh, big instant there. What's happened?
Pepin has just spun out of 4, Gareth, put the power down too early, and that is him down into 15th place. He was 7th or 8th at the time, and that's a huge heap of places lost. And unfortunately, because everyone's still so close on lap 6, he's dropped down to, just still in the points, but he'll be kicking himself, especially on those hard compound tires. Still a long way to go on that set. So yeah, not ideal for the IRT team, and yeah, Zawadi not doing too well either, up in only in 13th. So a lot of work for the team still to do.
Definitely, and there was also further incidents between Ryder Dahl and someone as well. So there plenty of action. Ryder Dahl missing a front left end plate here. Let's go back to the leaders. What's happening there? I don't think Dan is too close to Volokongan, but ET8 now with a damaged front wing. Ryder Dahl is in danger of costing the ET8 team a lot of points, and that's not something you say a lot about a driver of Ryder Dahl's tenacity and pedigree.
Yeah, we've got Divan has just retired from the session. He's made a mistake out of, that's a safety car, Gareth, on lap 7. He's made a mistake out of 18, it looks like. Well, his car's appeared now, but of all places to make a mistake. Yeah, but that may give the guy, obviously, that everyone will catch up now, but Ollie Hornby, Weasel, Rocco stays out, as does, who is that? Ivan stays out. So, but pit stops with a couple, and it'd be interesting to see whether the front guys pit here. Obviously, rain could happen at the end. Do they all go on to another set of hards? I don't know how it's all gonna play out. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll see what Erpek does. And Volokongan is going to try and slow down as much as he can, not to get delayed in the pits and maybe lose the place to Dan in the pit stops.
Yeah, he can't hold up too much, or otherwise there could be stewarding action taking place between them. But they've still got to do. Does Volokongan go in? They've surely got to pit, or otherwise it would be too much of a problem. Possible try and overtake there by Ortiz, desperately trying to find a way through, but it wasn't happening. But Volokongan's going to fall down the order, which is not part of the playbook from the Shazoo Cedar team. as we just look and see how long. Where does Volokonga, because this is a big point, where does Volokonga, how far do they drop down? There's Ortiz, there's I think an AMS driver in front as well. So I say only down to 5th. It's down to 5th, but it's not ideal for Volokonga.
No, it's crucially now. It was the whole being able to block anyone trying to come through, wasn't it, between himself and Erpak, but he hasn't got that. They don't have that ability now. Erpak's it was wide open to any attack really, and we saw how quick Dan was on that third attempt at the overtake. So it's Volokonga's got some work to do here to try and get back with his teammate, but crucially Dan could get by him before then. So we'll see how it is. And Axe is trying to get back up there with his teammate, but not being there. But crucially, Namsko's still in. I think he's gained 1 place after that, but he'll be. I'm sure he'll be happy to know that Volokonga's also dropped as well, so he'll have a pop at him on this lap. I was looking at the tyres. Obviously, Volokonga's gone on to mediums. If the rain hits at the end, are they going to make it, Gareth? The medium runners? I don't know, because we've seen punctures after 14 laps, 14 laps at Brazil last week, I think, and then a few weeks before we saw quite a few punctures. So I don't know whether we'll have to wait and see. But they may not make the rain, and they'll have to do another stop.
And that would not be ideal at all. I can't imagine we're going to see Volokonga go back into the pits from this position, because that would put them behind Ryderdal and Lifebout. Lifebout up into 8th place. Had a very nice upgrade, let's say, because Matea had to double stack in the TF10 team. And I think Aris Confliv has got a few positions as well. But Matea down to 10th. Not ideal. I think they were sitting happy in 7th place, or even 6th place, because Namsko has jumped that as well. Namsko back up into 6th after at the end of lap 2. Let's not forget making a mistake at Ravaza there and losing the lead to Erpek. But Erpek now doesn't have their rear gunner or Volokonga anymore.
No. I think that's going to be really crucial. I think we're going to see a lot of aggressive moves into turn 1, 2, and 3, aren't we? With no blocking available, it's really going to add some spices in it to this race once the safety car comes in. But not ideal. Just for the RSC team, obviously losing Divon there at the end of lap 7, I think it was. So not great for them, because they have. A double DNF last time out in Brazil, so they'll hopefully be jumping back in. Hopefully become we'll see what Confirm does in this race really, but hopefully we'll get racing once again. Safety car has not said he's going in just yet, but hopefully does as Rocket comes joins the back of the queue. But there we go, safety car is in on lap 9, Gareth.
I don't know if I read that right, but Erpik apparently was disqualified for the session. That's a very odd thing for it to come up. Obviously not disqualified because they're still racing. But Erpik is going to be now the de facto safety car. When do they decide to go? They've gone early, and it's left FRT Dan in a little bit of a predicament as they head down the start-finish straight to start lap 9. And look how close Volokonga is. He flies to the inside of... he tries to. Oh my goodness, it's all bunched up here. This could end badly as they try go 2 by 2 by 2. Is Volokonga in trouble with AMS Gergo? Desperately trying to get through. Is Volokonga can't find a way through. That's not ideal. Up the inside again for Volokonga on Gergo through Tozer, turn 7, but still can't find a way through the AMS driver.
Yeah, great defending by Gergo, just putting the car in the right place, and Volokonga just didn't have enough speed. But crucially, Gareth, he's on the medium tyre. He really needs to utilise his tyres while they are fresh, while the hard guys just can't... tyres still very good, but it's an advantage, isn't it, on those medium tyres. So we'll see how he does here, but crucially he needs to catch up with his teammate because Pack seems to be under pressure. After Dan held off Ortiz, he's now back under pressure from FLT Dan. So down the hill they go, 17 and 18. We'll see what Dan can do on this occasion.
We'll wait and see. Gergo front right end plate damage though. That is something to continue to monitor for the AMS team because it's not ideal for them, and being in such a strong position, you don't want it to cost them massively. Let's just go down the order a little bit because Ollie Hornby very, very quick towards the outside, trying to get past Ivan, as just ahead Thomas and Ziawadi swapping positions as well, but nothing doing for them at the moment. Let's have a look because Ziawadi could drop another position to Ryder Dahl. It's very close through Varante Villeneuve, and what a move from Ryder Dahl. That is definitely why they are such a revered driver on the grid.
Great move. We haven't seen a move through that proportion of corners this evening, but Ryder Dahl holds zone on the outside of 5 and 6 of Villeneuve and makes that move work and up into P11. And after the front wing damage he had previously, I'm sure he is chopping at the bit, Gareth, to try and work his way back up the grid. His teammate Lifeboat still in 13, so he is the leading ET8 driver at the moment, so working his way through the grid the best he can. And Zwadi under pressure from the other ET8 driver now as well, coming down the hill through 17 and 18. Keep an eye on those gaps as we progress through the race on to lap 11.
See Volokongan's point of view because they're struggling a little bit now. Whether that's just in the dirty air or anything like that, we're not 100% sure, but those mediums surely can't have gone off already. We're at 12 of 32, and this one we've lost Divan for a mistake out of Ravaza and causing a safety car, which may have cost, well, Shazoo a 1-2 tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we'll see. Well, it's a long way till to go till 20 laps remaining of this Grand Prix. Thomas has just got past Axe there into 9th place. Lifeboat also getting past Suadi as well. So both the ET8 drivers just outside the top 10 now, and they'll be again just pushing where they can and try and catch up with this. Well, it's still one big queue, isn't it, Gareth, on circuit? Looking at the mini-map, everyone's still very much bunched together. Dan is struggling a little bit though, isn't he? He's not been able to stay with our race leader, but Ortiz isn't there either. So a little bit of not much going on with the top 3 right now. I think it's more further back, and Namsko looking very close to the back. Volokongan here, we'll see. Up again, they're almost stuck in a DS train, aren't they, Gareth? They can't really get by each other, but we'll see as they come into turn 1 and 2 on this occasion.
Axe and Ryder Dahl, big moment through into Tamburello. That's not ideal. And wow, Axe has dropped a position and Ryder Dahl and Knifebout getting it. And I don't know what's going on there because Ryder Dahl, it looks like, has let Axe F1 back through, but Axe has effectively lost the position to Lifebout. That's, well, ET8 could still come under a little bit of scrutiny there, even though Ryder Dahl possibly did the right thing letting the driver through. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. All good intentions, but ultimately Axe has lost the place. So I think it may. I see what he's trying to do, but ultimately, like I said, Axe has lost the place. So that may be a trip to the stewards afterwards. Yeah, sorry, I've got a caution flag on my screen, Gato. It's really tripped me out thinking someone has made a mistake, but no one has on circuit. But Lafitte looking very close to the back of Namsko on this occasion. Him and Thomas been very quick since the restart, but again, everyone just in this big queue, aren't they, coming into 1 and 2? So no moves as of yet. Dan getting closer, but again, not close enough to make a move on our race leader as of yet.
There is now a break in the train between positions 7 and 8 because of this attacking from Lafitte into this part of the track. Matea has dropped out of a second, and we could see some overtakes now. This is the break that we need. You can also see the cloud cover here at it's heading in, and it could mean that the rain is maybe a little bit sooner than we thought.
Could well be, and that would help those on the mediums, Volakongan, Aroka and Ollie Hornby, all on a set of mediums as we speak. So we'll see. The thing is, Gareth, the rain may not come. I know it says it does, but the game has its own mind sometimes, doesn't it? So we'll see how the race progresses here. FRT down the closest been in a while, 4/10 here, coming through the final two corners. Crucially, doesn't get the best exit out of 18, and that's where the gap increases. You can see Pack just leading away in the lead of this Grand Prix, but he is gaining. I say that though, is this enough to make a move on our race leader? No, it's not. Very close to the back end of that Red Bull coming into turn 2 there, but no moves as of yet.
Again, that is so close, but nothing doing on this occasion. To the inside, we see the Williams of Lafitte, but not doing anything. The VNT driver decides against it. Matea drops out of the DRS range again, but manages, crucially, managed to get back into it in the end. As Volakongan now struggling on those mediums. Is Shizou? It's the Shizou driver. Well, are these mediums just showing that they're not the tyre to be on at this stage of the race?
Could well be, yeah. And I'm sure those supporting ET8 screaming the telly, knowing that Volakongan is struggling at the moment on those mediums, but still within DRS of the driver in front, and Namsco not close enough at the moment to make any inroads on the driver ahead of him. Dan again has made a few mistakes there. Ollie Hornby gets another penalty, unfortunately. And Dan, a huge mistake there. Now down 9/10 from our race leader, but lucky for him, Ortiz is nowhere near to make any moves on our race leader. But Gergo looking quick to the inside. He may get Ortiz. Yes, he does. Up the inside, flies past him before he even gets into the braking zone. Great move from him. That's him up into P3. I think it's the highest I've ever seen an AMS driver, Gareth.
It's good for AMS if you're an AMS fan heading through. Volakongan and Ortiz battling away behind as well, and there's more breaks coming through, and the battle's kicking off, and there is just that second gap now between Gergo and Dan, and that could just relieve Dan a little bit coming through. Ortiz 9/10 of a second behind Gergo. Volakongan looking racy again. This is starting to heat up a little bit.
I think it is, yeah. I think drivers are getting frustrated just in a queue of cars, and they're getting their elbows finally in this race. But Gergo 1.3 behind Dan here, and that could be where it really kicks off. And unfortunately, I think Ortiz, fortunately for Ortiz, he is within the DRS zone of the driver ahead, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to make the move. But with Gergo no DRS, we may. Well, I don't think he's going to get. He's too far back here, isn't he? But Dan again not close enough to Urpek here. Gergo should hold P3. I don't think Ortiz will be a hefty lunge to take P3 off the MS driver, but through they go once again. And just goes a bit deep there. He's done it a couple of times, Gareth, and Lafitte just not close enough to make a move on. Oh, did I say that? Up the inside, tries the move through 5 and 6, but just can't stick. And Namsco ready for it, Gareth, on that occasion. But Lafitte trying something different through them. We've only seen one driver successfully do it in Ranadal, but we'll see whether Lafitte can join that illustrious club.
We'll have to wait and see. Lap 17 of 32 now. Ollie Hornby having a nightmare, unfortunately. A very quick driver here at Imola, but it's just not going to plan for the AMS driver or Rocker either. The QRT driver struggling through this as well. But at the moment, Gergo unable to catch up with the top two drivers, which means that Ortiz then is going to be the driver that is, well, hopefully, if you're a TF10 fan, you'll be hoping that they'll get past Gergo. But it's 2 seconds now between the front two and the rest of the grid. Yeah, well, of course, Gergo's running around with half a front wing, Gareth. Fair play to him for holding his own. He defended well
from Bolokongan earlier on the restart, and has been able to get past Ortiz on one of the previous laps. So, in fairness to him, he's still doing well, but not with it being in with the DRS of Dan here is really going to cost him. And the drivers behind are catching him bit by bit, reeling him in. Yeah, but again, Dan's looking closer. But I think Dan makes mistakes through 14 and 15, doesn't he? And that's where he loses time to Urpek here. So I'll stay on board with him through here. Again, he's okay through there, but you can see how quick Urpek accelerates out of those two corners, and Dan just not close enough on this occasion. So he may do something different here, but bit of oversteer there is going to cost him coming into 17 and 18. But Gergo, more yellow flagged. Ollie Hornby making another mistake, unfortunately, coming out of 12. But we'll see whether anyone's close enough to make any moves on this occasion. I don't think Ortiz is close enough. Whatever Gergo's put in that Haas is great in a straight line, but it looks like Zawadi's getting past Axe here further back.
It's a big battle between VNT Thomas, Mattea, Lifebout, and Ryder Dahl, and Mattea has been the loser of that, looking like they were going to overtake VNT Thomas, ending up not. Let's having a look at Lifebout's position, and Lifebout is staying in ninth, but looking very racy, and looks like they're going to go and attack VNT Thomas at the next time of asking. But the lead at the front is just building and building. Again, VNT Thomas really actually needs to get back to their teammate right now, because they're going to lose the DRS advantage. But we'll go back to the leaders, because you're right. Dan loses time through Ferrante Alta, turns 14 and 15, and can't set up the attack down the start-finish straight.
No, he's just not there, is he? And he's ultimately going to have to wait for Urpek to make a mistake to try and capitalise on our race leader. I'm not on board with him. I'm going to assume that Dan's not going to get him on this occasion because of the difference in time here. Could be further moved further back, but again, I say that though, Gergo's just lost a place to Ortiz finally, and that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back here. And is that I say that though, Urpek's made a mistake, Gareth, and Dan takes the lead.
Yeah, that was a great overtaking opportunity through Ferrante Tamburello, and Dan took full advantage of the mistake from from Urpek there, and now Dan leads the Grand Prix.
Are you seeing rain, Gareth? I think I'm seeing it on my screen.
I'm not sure.
No, maybe it's just me on the onboard camera. It looks like something's happening. Maybe I just need to go to spectators. I think maybe that's the...
Maybe. It might. It doesn't... It's very...
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing droplets on the screen now, Gareth. It's starting to come down.
Yeah, it's definitely now. But maybe it's parts of the track, which we've seen before. Some parts are raining and wetter than others.
Yes, we could well see that, but I'm sure the likes of, Ollie Hornby always already on the intermediate tyres, Gareth, so that's quite a bold call. I think it's definitely not time for them just yet, but maybe trying to catch people out, but wheeling the gravel shows you he's not ready for those intermediate tyres.
Yeah, possibly a bit early and picking up a 3-second penalty to add to their troubles. But yeah, it's far more prominent now as we go through Piratella, and the rain droplets are hitting, and there's still that question mark of is it going to rain enough? But we have got 12 laps of this race remaining, and we'll have to wait and see. Volokongan, wasn't able to make any moves because of those with those medium compounder tyres, but this could save them.
Yeah, it could, but it's going to have to really start tipping it down, because those mediums are going to start to struggle, aren't they? If they're not already struggling in this race. But Dan has really pushed since getting past Urpek, 1.1 over second place, in the top three really spaced out now. And there we go, pits for a few of the drivers, and Volokongan not risking it, Gareth, and comes in on this occasion. I'm going to assume it's a set of intermediates for him. Yes, it is. And yeah, I think he's gone a little bit early though, but I don't think he had a choice.
I think it's the perfect opportunity for Shizou to test, and this could get them some big positional gains. If they're struggling on track, we'll know for certain. So we'll go on board with Ortiz, and we'll look a little bit from... Yeah, there's a struggle on putting the power down through Toza, which will indicate to me that maybe Intezada is a little bit of slide. Maybe not tyres, definitely tyres to be on, but they could get the grip advantage quicker than... Oh, goodness me, that is so sketchy through Acqua Minerale by Ortiz that maybe it is Inter's time.
Yeah, just trying to keep an eye on the gap between Volokongan and Weasel being 14th and 15th, and the gap is coming down here. So whether the top two decide to come in, it is, you can see it's coming down harder now. But Dan comes in, as does Urpek. Oh no, Urpek stays out, Gareth. He doesn't feel he's ready for those tyres. So Urpek's risking it for one more lap on here at Imola.
So it's the next train as well. This is crucial because Gergo, Lafitte, Ortiz, Thomas all deciding that it isn't time, it isn't ready. They want to stay a little bit longer. They don't want to overheat the tyres. Dan has left the pits. Dan's teammate, Axe, is in the pits to do the same as them. I'm not sure why it hasn't moved back to Axe yet. There we go. Axe is well ahead of Volokongan, who's just coming through now. But Volokongan's put a little bit of a gap on them, between them and Namsco. We haven't seen the DRS disabled sign pop up yet. That's one of the crucial bits. Urpek is still pulling away from Ortiz in second place. Volokongan is slowly catching Urpek. It's 31 seconds between the Shizou driver and their teammate. But this is interesting.
Oh, Latifi gets braking wrong into Brante Alta there and almost clatters Gergo coming into 14 and 15. I think it may be time for time. But again, DRS not disabled as of yet. And Urpek doesn't feel like he needs to come into the pits, as does Ortiz. Gergo comes into the pit, as does Lafitte, as does... No, Thomas stays out. So they're not sure, Gareth. They're really not sure.
It's that weird swap over period, unless we have a thought of this possibility that it's only going to rain for a few laps and then it's going to go dry again.
Good, absolutely. Yeah, we've seen it in the past.
It's a very interesting... No front wing change for Gergo either. Gergo decides to stay on that. Let's have a look at Volokongan. Point of view as they head on down and dispatches the drivers they were stuck behind for so long. And Volokongan now is 5.5 seconds behind Dan, but has crucially made the undercut on the drivers behind.
Yeah. I think Dan timed it perfectly. I think Volokongan, unfortunately, didn't really have an option with the tyres he was on. But Dan seems to have nailed it well here. Good old gap to Volokongan in 8th place, 5.5 splitting 7th and 8th, as Thomas gets a time penalty there. But again, it's tricky because there's no spray from the cars. DRS is still enabled on circuit. So Urpek finally decides to come in, and is that a cue for everyone else to come in? It looks like it is. Radadal stays out, Gareth. He's pushing it right to the limit here. Does he believe he can go to the end on these hard compound tyres and just try and risk it? Maybe 7 laps. The gap to Dan, we'll see when they come round now, but that could be a strategy.
Yeah, I'm just checking. I'll go back on board with Volokongan as they power down the start-finish straight for start. They're going to be right next to their teammate. They've overtaken Urpek. These two could work together to catch back up with Dan. The FRT driver's done a really good job. So Urpek locks 4 seconds, because they were a second behind Dan before the pit stops hit. Or before FRT descended the pit. So they could work together. Ryderdal picking up a 3-second time penalty for their trouble dropping out. Unless Ryderdal is thinking that it's either A, not going to get wetter than this and they can hold that position there, or B, it's the weather's going to fall into a different area. Ortiz and Ziawadi fighting and squabbling away for P10. Erpic picking up a penalty. That is not ideal.
Yeah, the exit of Piratella there just goes and goes deep through Aquaminerali as well. Gareth getting some gravel on the back of the tyres. He's losing a lot of time to his teammate here because DRS is still enabled. Gareth, they still can use that to their advantage. And Radadal, I have a funny feeling, Gareth, he is going to go to the end on these tyres, still staying out in these conditions. The gap is coming down, but is it enough? We've got 6 laps remaining. I mean, it'll be a huge win for him. He could, what's that, 17 seconds to Volkongen. Dan may get him, but if it stays like this, Radadal may just about survive and may even get on the podium.
Gaining about 2 seconds a lap with the current weather conditions as they're swapping positions. Oh my goodness me, VNT Thomas and Lifebout coming together through. And there goes Ortiz dispatching Lifebout and ET8 driver, well, making a position and then losing it because, well, Ortiz was the driver there and Lifebout gets a 10-second penalty for their trouble as well.
Yeah, not ideal for Lifebout. I just saw the end of the incident and 2 cars off on the circuit, and yeah, that may be another trip to the stewards for Lifebout. Was involved with another incident earlier. Pepin gets a penalty as well, so they're all stacking up now as the ring is here. And DRS is now disabled. Is that the cue for Radadal to come into the pits, or does he feel he can risk it? We'll have to wait and see. No, he pulls in the pits now. He thinks, yeah, it's about time. I'm going to change on to a set of inters.
Well, the only other thing, Radadal's, they had to throw the dice at something, ET8, and that was what they did. But the other drivers, they could have been overheating those inters too much. So we'll have to wait and see. But Radadal is going to drop down the order a fair whack. Let's see how this will do.
Yeah, he's right down, isn't he? It's going to be 14th, 15th potentially as they come flying on through, and maybe a lapse in judgment from the ET8 driver, and yeah, it's going to be 16th in the end, or no, 17th as Weasel pops on through. I couldn't see him on the POV camera there, but flies on through, and Radadal, as quick as he is, 70. I may get back in the points here, Gareth, but again, DRS isn't enabled, and they're going to have to get creative with their overtakes.
They will do indeed. And just like that, well, Lafitte is all over the back of Erpic. There could be something on here. Lap 27 of 32. The rain has hit, and it's been raining for a few laps now, but it's definitely intermediate tyre running now with the DRS disabled. As Mattea picking up a 3-second time penalty down in 14th place. That's going to cost them big time. The TF10 team, who looked really strong early doors here, but that early safety car has cost them massively, because Ortiz is still high up, but they haven't. Namsco, who was the pole sitter in this one, made a mistake on lap 2 at the end by Rivasa going off the track and let Erpic take the lead of the race. But now it's FRT Dan. The pendulum swings FRT's way in this race.
Yeah, and he's got 7 seconds almost on Volkongen here, just flying away, and you can see now the track has got damp. But who is? Oh no, is that? No, the Volkongen just let Erpak through, and that's a really awkward place because Lafitte is involved as well, and Volkongen may lose a place to the Williams driver. He's on the outside here. He's gonna have to really get his elbows out if he wants to get past the Red Bull driver. He has the bit of wheel banging, still side by side into turn 7 Tozer. He actually is going to split the Red Bulls here on exit. It's 3 abreast. We've never seen it racing like this. Still 3 abreast coming up into turn 9. Who's going to make it out on top? It's still the Williams has the inside line. Can he hold it here? He's trying to defend, trying to get through on Erpak, and he has, Gareth. He's got through and into second for Lafitte.
Wow, what a series of corners from that. What happened to Volkongen? No one knows, but Lafitte has done an absolute stellar job of destroying Shizu's hope of a double podium and is now in second place, 10 seconds behind FRT Dan. Volkongen had a massive issue and we're not sure why. And just behind, AMS Gergo still having a good race for the Alien Motorsport team.
Oh, he's trying to go down the inside of Volokongan. There's a little bit of contact. Don't normally see moves into 17 and 18, but is a track getting right? It's not wet tyres. Oh, sorry, the blue wall tyres as of yet, but yeah, it's really heating up in these last couple of laps. Was Volokongan trying to let Erpak through because of the penalty he had, maybe, and trying to let him go ahead so Volokongan can slow everyone else down, so maybe he holds more places because of that 3-second time penalty? Who knows? Or was it a mistake from Volokongan? We'll have to wait and see. But look at the queue of cars behind Volokongan now. They're all trying to get past this Red Bull, and it may end in tears here, Gareth, because they're all squabbling for places.
Yeah, there's a massive squabble for places, and there's front wing damage to, I believe, 3 or 4 cars through that. Lifeboat, Thomas, and maybe Ziawadi as well as Gergo, who's had that front wing left right end plate, I think, damaged since the early parts of this race. And Volokongan really is doing a, well, back defensive role to maybe allow Erpak that time. Maybe you're right with that, because it's 1.8 seconds at the moment and they need 3 seconds. It's lap 29 of 32 with side-by-side action between Ortiz and Gergo coming through, and that will help Volokongan a little bit, because these drivers are squabbling away. Namsko trying to find a way through Ortiz, but it's not happening at the moment as they head to Rivaza through 16, 17 and 18. It's all keeping position at the moment, but Thomas and Lifebout squabbling away as well.
We're all throwing it deep into 17, aren't they? Trying to get through, and this rain is getting heavier and heavier. You can see the glistening on the circuit. On board with Lifebout here. He's going to try and make a move on Namsko. Just can't get the pace on the man in front. No one else ahead, but he does. Late on the brakes. Can he get through past the outside line? No, he can't. Trying everything in the playbook to get through. 3 laps remain of this Grand Prix, and it's still really heating up. Dan flying away. Lafiti flying away. I think it's all everyone else really still fight well. I don't know. Volokongan doing a great defensive role for the SEI team, and it could get up to 3 seconds. 2.5, splitting 3rd and 4th right now.
Yeah, it's big action, and well, Volokongan playing the team game to absolute perfection. Gergo just can't find a way through. Erpak really needs to push on a little bit, but Lifebout in there as well. Fighting away. Ortiz and Gergo so close together. Volokongan, we see so calm and collected. Race in, race out. I see a bit WR and all this. Know their stuff. They are so solid. But at the moment, proving to be an impassable object for Gergo and Ortiz.
Yeah, this just can't extend. Sorry, I've got horrific rain in Swansea as well, Gareth. It's been distracting, but Ortiz flies it, bumps in through, up the inside through 17. We never see him move through there. Gets through partially through 18, and that's Ortiz through. But all this battling is going to help the SEI drivers. Volokongan now is over a 2nd place to Ortiz.
Ortiz and Gergo, this is going to be close again. Volokongan can have a little bit of a breather from defending. Up into 14th now is Ryder Dahl with fighting away with Mateo and has the move done and dusted. Ryder Dahl's recovery drive, staying out far too long, has done something at least. Lifebout dropping behind VNT Thomas, or are they? There's contact, they're onto the gravel, that's not ideal. And through goes Ziawadi on Thomas, is it? Is that going to make a move around the outside? No, the 2 McLarens now fighting tooth for nail. It's a penultimate lap of the race all of a sudden. And that has just cost, surely, Shazoo majorly. Another 3 seconds time penalty for Erpak. And Volokongan must be seething.
And it could be no podium at all for SCI if Ortiz gets his way. He's been really racy behind Gergo, and it could be another move from here. He's got a lap and a half to get by Volokongan here. It's incredibly close, and he's been so quick since his rain has hit. His rain is tipping it down now. Sure, I mean, if they had the choice, they'd put a set of full wets on, but it's too late now. Round the penultimate corner they go. Ortiz has got 1 lap to get by Volokongan.
Here we go. Lafiti is catching Dan, but it's not going to be enough. Because it is the last lap, as you quite rightly mentioned here. Volokongan holding station, doing the impenetrable job at the moment. 4.2 seconds behind their teammate. Erpak needs to really well, put the anchors on from the drivers behind. To their credit, Ortiz does have that 3-second time penalty as well, but Gergo doesn't. And Volokongan holding station lovely at the moment. It's built up to 5 seconds. Does Ortiz decide to fly it up the inside? No, not into Tozer, deciding against it. And eventually, sooner or later, we're going to have to go on board with FRT Dan because they are going to take the checkered flag. They've done an absolute incredible race. We've barely spoken about them for the second half of this Grand Prix, but Volokongan still doing the admirable Shizou thing of holding up the rest of the grid to maximise points for the Shizou team.
Yeah, and it's 5.1 now, guys. They could go up to 6 the way Volokongan's driving. And Ortiz, you can see, is scrabbling around trying to get through any way, which and where past the Red Bull.
It's not happened at the moment, and that's really well held up through Alta. But across the line to take victory is FRT Dan in some fashion. Lafiti is going to come home in second place. Erpic, and again, some more holding up through the final few corners. Volokongan has driven this defensive play to absolute perfection, and Erpic is going to take the podium because Volokongan has driven so well.
Yeah, hats off to Volokongan there. That's a great defensive role by him. Played it pretty much the whole race, really, in various roles at the start of the Grand Prix. And you know, I think Erpic owes Volokongan a beer after this.
Maybe more than one. FRT Dan is the victor, but we're just seeing Ollie Hornby and Confliv round the final. Rocker just crossing the line now for their troubles as Ollie Hornby struggling to keep the car on the track. The rain has absolutely started. This is wet weather right now, and Ollie Hornby is drifting around corners, really struggling to keep the car together. And that is an unfortunate way to end the Grand Prix for Ollie Hornby there. Wow, unfortunate. I'll give you a little bit of time to decide this one, who you think driver of the day is going to be. Let us know in the chat who you think driver of the day should pop to tonight as well. But that is, well, here's your podium. Lafiti coming home in second place there, but the winner, the driver that has done absolutely incredible this race, raced their race to perfection, is FRT Dan, and fair play to them for doing that. And well, Erpec owes that podium to their teammate Volokongan for maximising the points that Shizou could get today. As we just round that out, the game has given driver of the day to VNT Thomas. Most overtakes Ryder Dahl, cleanest driver was Volokongan, and fastest lap did go to Ollie Hornby in the end, and race winner FRT Dan. So the victor was Dan with Lafiti and Erpic on the podium. Volokongan in fourth place, fifth to Gergo, Namsko in sixth, seventh to Ortiz, Raziawadi in eighth, ninth to Thomas, and 10th to Axe F1. Ryder Dahl, Ivan, Pepin, Matea and Weasel all rounded out the point scoring position here in CSS, and no points for Lifebout in the end. Rocker, Confliv or Ollie Hornby, with Divan causing the safety car early doors. Your drive of the day, please, Ollie.
I mean, you could argue Gergo, really good drive for him. Good haul of points for the AMS team. But I think I'm going to have to give it to Lafiti. That move through those corners in the wet weather was phenomenal. Probably the best move I've seen in a long time. Going 3 abreast through Tozer was some epic scenes, and especially with the helicopter cam that I had. So yeah, I think for that, and also finishing the podium, obviously, Gareth. For me, it's Lafiti.
Yeah, it was a great drive. I really enjoyed that one, and I'm just going to see if there is anyone joining us tonight. I'm having just a bit of technical difficulty, so please bear with me. There we go. We have no one in the waiting room right now, but something I suppose we can discuss at this point was Namsko taking pole, but that was a big mistake at lap 2, wasn't it? And you know, could they have won the race?
I mean, he was up there, wasn't he? He almost pretty much stayed in 6th the whole race then, didn't he? He dabbled between 6th and 7th. So I mean, ultimately, he could have. He was in the mix in that DRS train, wasn't he? So I think he'll be kicking himself, won't he, after that? So it's one of those things that you learn from your mistakes, and hopefully he'll be okay by the time we get to Austria next week.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Just seeing if I could find anything else out on that one. Great. How would you? There's no one joining us, unfortunately. How would you run down that race?
I mean, I'll probably give it maybe an 8 out of 10, Gareth. It was pretty good when that rain hit. It was. I think we got a bit of. It does happen at the circuit, a bit of a DRS train, but the guy made it entertaining. That rain came into play in the strategy. So great racing once again here in CSS, as we always do, and look forward to next week at Austria.
And there we have it. That is that's this race over and done with, and we will be back for the Austrian Grand Prix next time out. It's been an absolute fantastic couple of weeks here since the summer break or the mid-season break on Competitive Speed Series. But for now, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.